now probably the most disputed contemporary questions of Chanukah. Where to light? Okay? So, I'm going to start the subject with a question that I think is rather simple. I have a front door, and the front door looks into my dining room, and I light my menorah on the dining room table. Is that lechatchila?
No.
Why not?
If you could see it, it
Is that lechatchila?
Wie gezegd?
It's the chachila in the situation. It's the minhag, like minhag. It's well kodesh.
I don't know. You're way beyond it. I'm right now in the times of Chazal, before the Chasidim's great-great-grandfathers were invented. Okay? Is that lechatchila?
Not there.
Why not? This is a trick question. I'm going to make it clear. I'm asking a trick question.
It's not really a tricky question.
It's a very tricky question. I'm not even sure I know the answer to the question.
The entrance to your house, right? You're supposed to put the menorah at the entrance to your house.
Why?
For Simonisa.
So people should see it.
Yeah.
So they can see it.
Not on your dining room table.
I made it very clear.
They can
I
see
say
it when they walk in. But you can't.
Yes, you didn't listen to what I said.
Okay.
You could see when I opened the front door right to the dining room table.
Okay.
And I lit it on the table.
Okay.
And leave the front door open.
And I leave the front door open. Am I yetzel lechatchila or not?
No.
Okay, why not?
Because אתה צריך לעשות את זה בחוץ, ולקבל שהציבור יראה את זה, לא לתרבות.
למה?
Because
יחוצה בעברית.
בחוץ לראות את זה, לא...
מה אמרתי? אמרתי אנשים בחוץ יכול לראות את זה, אתה לא שומע. אמרתי ברור. שמתי את זה על השולחן בסלון, במקום שיכול לראות את זה מבחוץ. מה הבעיה?
אבל כי אני לא... כי אתה צריך לפתוח את הדלת בשביל שאנשים...
זה פתוח!
כל הזמן פתוח. אבל כשפתוח יכול להיות שיהיה רוח או משהו ש...
אני גר בדרום אפריקה, זה באמצע הקיץ. אין שום בעיה.
בדרום אפריקה יש רוחות
No, but it's not.
לא, אין. מה?
Also for people to look into someone else's apartment. You can't look into someone else's.
וואו, ומה עושים כשמדליקים בחלון? זו שאלה טובה. מה שאתה שואל זה שאלה טובה. אני לא מזלזל בשאלה הזו, זו באמת שאלה מצוינת. What? Yeah, how are you allowed to put something and have people look into your house? It says a kriya. It's a wonderful question. Perhaps I have an answer to that question. Perhaps.
But it's a guy puts a dinosaur on the corner and makes the whole thing in his house for me to look. That also has a great...
What do you mean? My cousin said he was in somebody's fancy's house, and there was something fancy there, so the Balat Abayit said, don't touch that, it's just for decoration. So he tells his little brother, says, don't touch that, that's for declaration. Okay? It's a true story. I was there when it happened, okay? See, like a shinui kal, right? That's
the point here. You're putting it here for everyone to see. That's not has agree if you're inviting the look of everyone. You're putting your menorah, please.
1 second. So therefore the guy could check out your chandelier and what kind of silverware you have also. Because once you open up the door, he could feast his eyes on everything.
Maybe.
Perhaps,
but
okay.
But if he's going for the menorah and he bumps into everything else on the way, then excuse me, sir, if you're so concerned about curtains.
Okay. Perhaps. We'll leave the question as a question right now. But the point of my question is one thing. Everybody here understands that there's something wrong with lighting on your dining room table if you could see it outside. Right? I think that's the question is, why is it wrong? And I believe that you all really know the answer, at least intuitively. The answer is because Chazal made a makom hadlaka. It's not enough that it's seen. They gave the concept gedorim. And even though you're still Makayim the concept, if you're not Makayim the Geder, you're not Yaitza. This is what seems to me to be obvious. And I'll tell you where what I just said now is not so obvious. Let's start this shir again. I go to somebody's house and I see his box with his Chanukah there, and I knock on the door and I say, "You're not Yaitza." So he says to me, "Why not Yaitza?" I said, "Because it's not Tefach HaSamuch." So he says, "Come on!" I said, "I'll show you. I'll bring you my tape measure." And I measure it, and it's not Tefach HaSamuch. Do you think he's Yaitza? But you can't figure out where it belongs? You could, but Chazal made halacha. Okay, now yes. He says to me, Rabbi Zachariash, you missed the point. The box is Tefach HaSamuch. The Chanukah is the Tefach HaSamuch. Is that enough?
If it wasn't enough, does that mean he's done nothing? He had already bracha
That's
over
what
top?
Rabbi Alpern says.
He's lighting in the middle of the desert, middle of nowhere.
If it has to be Tefach HaSamuch, you didn't do Tefach HaSamuch, they didn't do anything. So now let's go. Let's ask the question again. What has to be Tefach HaSamuch? What about the shelf that the box is on? If that's in Tefach HaSamuch, is that enough?
החנוכיה עצמה.
חנוכיה עצמה. יש כזה דבר חנוכיה עצמה, או יש את הכוסית? זאת אומרת, לפעמים יש כזה פס, ויש לי את השמש שמה, והשמש בתוך טפח הסמוך זה מספיק לי, או אני צריך שאני חנוכה בעצמו?
אני חנוכה בעצמי.
איך אתה יודע? איך ניחשת? אם הייתי נותן לך שקל להגיד הפוך, הייתי יכול להגיד הפוך? We'll leave those questions right now. Okay, but these are questions that have to be asked, right? And as you're learning this halacha l'maaseh, you have to know what are we supposed to know. Anyways, Ner Chanukah. Now we're going to see right now. Menichoy al Pesach hasamuch l'rshus harabim mibachutz. V'abayis pesuch l'rshus harabim, and there's no chotzer. Menich al Pischoy. You put it on the door of your house.
I thought Ner in the time of the Gemara, they're using it differently from what we use today. I learned once Ner to us.
We don't use Neres today. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ner means a flame to us today, right, doesn't it? But I thought in the time of the Gemara, Ner meant like one of these pottery lamps that they put oil in.
So it's
A
a glass
ner,
cup of milk.
a ner does not mean a flame. If I would ask a 6-year-old kid, Neiros, Chalois, Yain V'Kiddush, and you say, Tavili Tanerot, my mivim.
Candle.
So is Neros a candle or a flame?
Today, I guess it's the candle. But I mean, what was it in the time of the Gemara? I thought it was
Also.
the container. No?
Exact same thing. In the olden times, they didn't have tallow or paraffin candles. So what they used to light was fuel with a wick in a utensil.
Yes.
And the simplest one was one that you're talking about. So the ner means the kli sheyesh betocho efsharut le'or. That's what a ner means.
Right.
So in different, but it means the same thing. Nothing changed. So now when you don't need a kli, because we have candles, that's also called a ner. It's the availability of lighting. The Maral, which the Mishnah Berurah brings down, fascinating thing. He says one of the reasons not to light with candles is because a candle is missing a component of a ner. A ner has a kli, a wick, and fuel. And a candle only has fuel and a wick. There's no kli. How do I know? This wasn't we're supposed to be learning this, but since you brought it up, how do I know that the kli isn't just a hechitimtza?
Who says that you have to have a kli?
I just go to the Maral. So I'll tell you how I know.
Okay.
The Birkei Yosef brings down from the Chesed Lavram a list of chashivas of which utensil to use. Zov, Kesef, Choshes, Schuchis, and there's a whole list in what order your keli should be made out of. Not only that, the Poiskim, the Rishonim bring down that one, if they can light with a silver menorah, they should, and if you can't light all of them with, at least the light for that night should be done with a silver menorah, silver cup. Now, this means that the kli is part. There is nobody who's going to say, and I'm going to just try to tell you something which is very important, but skipped. Is there an inyan in having a nice Tallis bag?
Yes.
Why?
No mitzvah.
No mitzvah? מי שזה לא מיצו? אולי שיהיה לי בית יפה, שאני שם את הטלית שלי בבית היפה? Okay, this is, in my opinion, in Brisk, this is a discussed issue. Vadai, there is no havamin in the world that there's a noi mitzvah to have a nice talis bag. No such thing. But there's a different word. There's a chibuv mitzvah. I have something that I considered important, so I put it on a pedestal. I put it in a nice wrapping. I get a diploma, I put it in a frame and put it on my wall. Why? Because it's choviv to you.
Trying to show off.
Okay. You could show it off without the frame.
You know, the years I went to school, I went to school for 15 years.
Because the chashivas of it makes it deserve to have a frame. It doesn't make a difference why you're doing it. It's because, and if you're not going to have it in a frame, and it means nothing to you, then you wouldn't show it off. I want you to know, I have absolutely no desire to hang up my certificate that I graduated kindergarten. באמת.
Imagine everyone graduated.
I wish. And in America, people graduated by graduate high school.
No.
Well, I would say that 90, in the circles that we live.
I got my GED.
Okay, but why don't people? That's already called something chashuv, right? Whatever. Don't mention it. Okay. Anyways, the ner is a part of it. The box is a hechetimtzah. There's no inyan in having a nice box, except for chibur mitzvahs. If I have a nice piece of silver, so I make my extra box, an esrog box, out of silver. If somebody comes to me and says, Rabbi Zachariash, I inherited a chunk of silver, what should I do with it? I'll tell him the first thing you should do with it is make a menorah. And then I would tell him perhaps they should make a becher.
That's what the Rebbe was saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Because the menorah, it says mefurish, you should light in silver. Because the menorah is, now there's a discussion.
Because, what's in that sentence?
It's a kli. It's the kli. Now
Yeah,
there's a
explain
discussion.
what the kli is. Yeah.
It's part of the ner. It's part of the chefetz of the mitzvah. You have to have a ner Chanukah. This is the ner.
It's not the holder of the mitzvah, it's the doer
Right.
of the mitzvah.
And today's poskim, the modern poskim, they wrestle with the question about the people who light in these glass cups. If I own, let's say I have this menorah over here, I could take out, thank you very much, I could take out those plastic things that it's in and light in those cups by themselves. Is that better or not? So there's a...
Good, what you're saying, yes.
Oh.
It should be on the right.
Okay. However, there are some poskim who would argue, and they say that this is just like doily in the menorah. You're really lighting in the silver menorah. You just, for practical purposes, you're lighting there. But the real kli is it's questionable. In my opinion, vadai, there's inyan to light in the silver thing itself. It's a chiddush. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's a chiddush. The pashtus is that you should light in the silver menorah itself.
Isn't there a contradiction there between lighting a silver menorah and the main minhag here is to put the menorah outside? If you put a menorah outside, either Ahmed or Ivan are going to make off with it if it's a silver menorah.
If you do it nowadays, Ahmed may take off with you, right? Right? I know somebody who does that, and he lets the silver menorah, and he stays outside for a half hour, and then he takes it in.
Is that better than lighting in less quality but leaving it for hours on?
We can discuss it when you're up to that, Shaila. I know somebody else that built a special box. It's attached to the wall, and you can't take it away. Okay? Anyways, that's a little bit far from where we started. It was supposed to be. Okay, now Chanukah, you're supposed to do it. You should put it on Pesach HaChotzer. If yesh chotzer lefnei habayis, menicha Pesach HaChotzer. If dor ba'aliyah, she'en lo Pesach b'such l'shus harabim. If that means if you had staircases that go down to Rishus Harabim, like I'll use this far out example, like Shlomo Hollander who lives across the street, right? So he has a staircase. Whether that staircase is good or not, that's another question. But you could have a person who has an aliyah that has steps going up to his house. And then what do? If you don't have, you put it in the chaloin. Now, the person who is putting it in his chaloin in America is not doing what we just said. The person in America who's putting it in his chaloin is doing the next halacha in Shulchan Aruch. Ubeshas hashakana she'en rishoy lekayim b'mitzvah, anichal shulchan b'dayoi. In Shas HaSakana, then you put it on your table.
He's just trying to also get
Yeah.
much as he could.
But according to Chazal, you have to be putting it in your window. Now, I'm going to ask you a question right now, which is a fascinating question, not so well discussed in the Poskim. It is discussed in the Poskim. I read something recently which made me laugh. Sometimes you come from one society and you have one mindset, and you come to a different society, has a different mindset, and you forget where you came from. The question which is discussed in the Poskim is when you light it in the window, or I would like to change that word, when you light it on the window, do you light it inside your house, facing the window, or you light it outside your house, by the window? Okay. So, I'm quoting from some of the respected poskim.
Who's the ikar?
Perhaps. Some of the poskim say that even if you have bars on your windows, and people over here have bars with a button, you know what I'm talking about? So he says that's also called lighting it in the window. Why is it also called lighting the window? I'm right now quoting. Because that's where the kids sit and you put things out there. Now, when I grew up, I don't know, for some reason, I would have read that, I wouldn't understand what it's talking about. It's not like, like, it's like something's missing over here. And I read that just, I got a kick out of it. So this is a muvana pashut in one society, and makes absolutely no sense in a different society. Right? In South Africa, there's such a thing. Right? But Echsho, there's a discussion, where do you light it? Do you light it inside your house or outside your house? The Pri Chodesh brings from Rabbi Avrohom and his supposition is that Rabbi Avrohom, it goes like Tallis, and you should light it outside, your window outside. That means you should get a box and put it on your window outside. In this country, that's possible to be done because the glass is usually recessed, and there's about 6 inches in front of that. How much? It's about 6 inches in front of that. You can put a box there. All right? That's what should be done.
In America,
According
the window
to-
sills are the opposite.
I'm aware of that. I said,
And they're very thin compared to Israel.
if somebody would ask me in America where to light, which I get asked this question every year, I say, do like your father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. We live in Chutz La'aretz b'sakana, and you light inside. Now, until Tavshin Pei Daled, there were people that said, what do you mean, America? We're fine. Okay. Let's continue. Neis Gadol Haya Sham. Anyways, all right. In Aza also, right? You should light inside or outside?
A huge one out of
Inside.
Inside.
Yeah, outside.
Everything's
Huge one out of
outside.
wood.
I'd like to share with you a conversation that I had with a Dati Leumi rabbi last week. He told me that he saw a picture of a big menorah being lit in a Palestinian square. I don't know, some place which was conquered. And he's asked me, what do I think about it? I think it's very good. So he said, why? He understood that this is not, there must be something what he's thinking that's not what I'm thinking, right? And I said, it's very good because I think that it gives the soldiers a gav. Very purposeful.
More than a flag.
Yeah, way more than a flag. I think that it's, now, you Yitzah, not Yitzah, perhaps this is greater than that whole question. No, I'm not saying whether I would say to do it or not to do it, that's another question. But be'etzem, I believe that it's a symbol which hopefully will give the soldiers some kind of a religious connection and understanding and impetus to carry on. So, basach hakol, that's good. If you want to hold that you should light there, you shouldn't light there, but there's good involved in it. It's not the same thing as lighting it at the halftime in the Super Bowl. It's not the same subject. All right. Anyways, even though it could be it is halftime in the Super Bowl, but whatever. That's a different issue. Let's carry on. Now I would like to translate this line. This is a fascinating question, a fascinating diuk, and there's a lot written about this subject. If I cannot pursue Nisa, am I Mekayim the mitzvah or not?
Yes.
I would challenge you to read over what the Mechaber said. Read the Mechaber.
Except for yourself.
What?
No one except for yourself.
Yeah, are you Yitzhak or you're not Yitzhak?
Yourself, one person except for yourself is not good enough.
Okay, now I'll ask you, Gil, I beseech you, read the Mechaber, Shulchan Aruch. You have Shulchan Aruch there?
Yeah, what's the name?
Oh, Tafresh Ayin Aleph, Sif Hey. In mine, it's the 4th line. I'm going to read it again, and tell me if I have a problem reading, or somebody else has a problem reading. Ubeshas hashakana she'enu rishayim lekayim ha-mitzvah menicha al shulchana v'dayoi. What did I just say?
When you're not able to do the mitzvah, I presume I pursue the nisa.
Why do you pursue that?
Because
What is the mitzvah we're talking about?
the nisa.
No,
Really?
Near Hanukkah.
I thought we were talking about Ner
Yeah,
Chanukah.
but the whole reason of Ner Chanukah is pursue the nisa.
Bechutz.
If you can't,
That is the objective of Ner Chanukah.
If I light, you came a little bit late. Well, this is entrapment. We started off this year, and we said that if I light the menorah 1 millimeter after a tafach, you're not yaitza. Guy has to be an idiot not to understand what's going on, right? So why are you not yaitza?
There's a parameter when people can usually see.
Because there was a takana, in order to do the mitzvah, it has to be done.
I mean, certain parameters.
Parameters. One of those is should be done outside. Perhaps if you did it outside and there was nobody there besides you, you're important enough for it to be Pesum Benisa. But if I lit it inside,
But only between, or you have no mishpachah if you haven't.
no. The halacha was to light it for the people in Rishus Harabim.
Except for Chutz La'aretz.
I don't know anything about Chutz La'aretz.
As I said, if it's dangerous, then you should do it on your table.
But no, that's what we're talking about. And if it's dangerous and you can't be Makayim the mitzvah, then Meniach HaShechol V'daya. So when we say, let's read it again.
But the evidence. It's not the way you should be doing it. That if you have no choice, then it's good enough.
That suffices.
What?
That suffices.
Good enough.
Even though you're not performing the mitzvah. That's the way it reads.
Even though you're not performing the mitzvah.
The way it should be done.
It does, read the words. Read the words again, okay? And this is what's called not counterintuitive. All of you came in here with a prejudice, okay? And I would like to dispel that prejudice, and then perhaps if we have time, we'll try to. Again, I'm reading this exactly. Everything we said over here, there was no entrapment. It's pashut. If you light in the wrong place, you're not yaitza, even though everybody knows. You have one of those Chabad menorahs on your car, and it's wonderful, but you're not Makayim a mitzvah, right? That's pashut, right? You're Makayim a mitzvah, lishma to what the Rebbe said, maybe, but that's a different mitzvah. What? What?
Maybe he drives into his house.
Maybe he lives in his car. Well, a lot of things could be. Anyways.
They're not Makayim Pesumei Nisa.
It might be Etsy.
It's not Pesumei Nisa.
What?
The note on the car is not even Pesumei Nisa.
Why not?
I'm asking you.
Why not? Depends what kind of menorah it is. It could be psuadis, huh? It could be. Okay. And now I'm going to read again. I'll read it again. You put it on Pesach Habayis Bachutz. Imdor Ba'aliyah she'en no Pesach Pasuch Lishus Harabim Meniach B'chaloim Sam Lishus Harabim. And then your Makayim, it's called a Makam Hadlaka. Why?
People who are outside can see it.
Because it's Hadlakas Chutz.
People could see you, okay.
As we said, the Pri Chodesh says, where do you put it in the window? Outside. Just like you light on your outside door, you light on your outside window. It's Hadlakas Chutz. Nothing to do with you in the house. Nothing to do with your family.
That's not the people in America.
That's not the people in America. 1 second. Ubishas hasakana she'en rishoy lekayim hamitzvah. What does it
Can't
say?
light it outside.
What?
Can't light it outside.
Which is the mitzvah? Which mitzvah?
Oh,
Ner Chanukah.
which is Pesumei Nisa.
That's the accomplishment, but the act, right? Right? No, this is.
You're not doing the mitzvah.
That's the whole reason I'm doing it outside. Pesumei Nisa.
What?
That's the whole reason you should do it outside. So people can see it.
You're not doing the mitzvah. What are you doing? You're putting it outside? You have the lighting is the mitzvah. What's going on? Wait, you go, okay, you put the nice
No, it means
menorah
the lighting
inside. Yeah, that's
outside.
terrific.
No, it means
What about the lighting?
outside, not putting it outside.
What about have a cigarette? What about the lighting? What does the lighting have to do with anything?
But just putting it there, where is it supposed to be? Okay, there again. Aren't you supposed to light it?
You're supposed to light it.
No. If you don't light it, you can kind
Well,
of.
you don't have the nair, right? You don't have anything,
Right.
right? Just have a chana. That's it. That's all you have. But you have to put it in a place that is called a place of Pesumei Nisa. In your house, l'chara, that's a simple reading. In your house is not a place of Pesumei Nisa. Whether at the end of the day you're Makayim Pesumei Nisa or not, that's another question.
You're not Makayim ha-mitzvah, Hadlakas Neros Chanukah, you know?
I think that's the reading. And this is, the Ritva says not like this.
Baruch Hashem.
I didn't say we paskin.
I don't care.
Okay. We found somebody out
At
there.
least we're with
Okay, so there are those who want to say that that's true, something not, and there's a big nafkamina to this lahalocha l'maisa. Rabbi Yasha's shita is that if you could light outside and you light inside, you're not Yaitza. Now, let's say Gil, now it makes sense what he's saying, right? You have a Makam Adlaka, there's no Sakana.
Why are you lighting inside?
Not why. You didn't do anything.
No, it's exactly.
There was a Takana, Beshasa Sakana, a new Takana. There are those who say that you could possibly be Makayim the mitzvah without Pirsum Midisa, and that's how you read it. It's a bit B'diavad and a Kiyum. But first, when you read it, all right.
That's what I grew up with.
But did Rav Eliashiv not accept the first thing we learned, that if you live...
Whatever we learned, he didn't accept. That's for sure.
If you live in a Aliyah, then you should light in the window. He would argue with that.
No, because we just said the person who lights in the window is lighting outside.
Oh,
That's called lighting outside. That's what we built up. This is all entrapment. We built it up that it should be clear. You're always lighting, that kana was to light outside, and you're always lighting outside. Even in the window, you're lighting outside. Now, what happens? Kishem Brera. So then there's a new takana of sakana. According to many, they said once they made that takana, so you're always makayim that takana.
That's why they're still lighting.
Perhaps I'm not right now getting involved in that. But first, this is important nikuda. Why am I telling this to you? I would like to. What we just said right now. I'm taking issue with many of today's poskim zatzal. I would like to start with Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, and then discuss Rav Nissen Karelitz, and then revisit the halacha here in Shulchan Aruch. One of the big problems of yeshiva life is where to light your menorah. You have yeshiva with 700 guys and one door, and they're all Talmidim from Yashiv. They have to light outside. So you just kill the guy next to you and take over his menorah, right? What do you do? So Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says there's absolutely no problem. As long as you write tefach hasamuch to the other guy's menorah, so the associative property brings you to the door.
It's like the brachas of Amida, one follows the other. It's a chain.
So, something like that. Now, I'm not in a position to argue with him. I think suffice to say that's a chiddush, right?
Very good.
It's a chiddush.
100 meters away.
You have absolutely no long-range vision. Can't you see where he lit?
No.
I'll show you.
It's
The train of menorahs.
Okay.
Does that mean that the first person who put it, tefach, where it's supposed to be, does he mekayim the mitzvah better than all the others?
Sure.
Not according to Rav Shlomo Zalman.
According to Shaya, doesn't matter. We're all.
It's all the same.
But everybody's going to find. I still want to do the right thing. I want to be the first one to be there. I want to, put it in the right place.
You want to do the right thing, be mevater. You should want to be the right thing.
But did we not say last week that if you put one...
You were a gabbai, right?
Did we not say last week if you put one menorah to another one, they say it's unclear that they're separate menorahs?
Yes.
No, here it's going to be
Excellent
clear.
question.
Everyone's
Well, each one will be in their own box, and each one will be in their own
So
thing.
there has to be enough separation.
And this is, I'm not right now
Wait
here.
for the first guy in order to make the chain.
Could be.
That's
the
how
same.
nice.
The first guy has chashivas there. Yeah.
There's not the schakula.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, right. When he lights it, he mamish gets the tefach of everybody. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, we'll just
He'll
leave.
attach it to something. He'll
We'll-
light it. And
we'll
it'll like
leave
a vroom, you
now.
know.
Let's go to the next subject. I have a neighbor, and I'm right now saying Lashon Hara, in my opinion. I have a neighbor. You could go look, the house next to mine. And there's a fellow who has a wonderful guy, nothing against him. He has a chatzer, he has a mepeset, and towards the end of the mepeset, I don't know what he has, you can't see, but he has obviously some kind of a table or something like that, and he has a menorah that's sticking out, at least in his eyes, over the ledge of the mepeset. Is that good?
Can you see it?
Obviously.
Okay, so it's good.
What would happen?
What's not?
Yes, let's start again. if I lit on my dining room table and I have my front door open and you can see through to my dining room table, am I yaitza?
No.
No. Why? Because they didn't lie in the right place. So before we discuss, could you see it or not, we have to discuss, is it in the right place or not?
It's like a chalon in Rosh Hashanah.
Now I ask you a question. A person who has a ledge,
Behind the ledge.
and let's say on the ledge,
Okay.
is that a chaloi?
Yes.
Who says it's
Outside.
not a chalon? I mean,
Facing
I
the
know.
public.
Why not? Well,
Facing
what's
the
it?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Is there any difference between lighting it on the ledge than lighting it a tefach and a half away from the door?
That's a big machlokes.
What's the machlokes? I don't know the way such machlokes. In both of them, it's clear and apparent whose it is. So what's the problem? And what about if I lit it in the middle of my merpeset?
And people could see it just as good.
Should be just as good.
yeah. 'Cause
זה לא מקום
So then I can light them on the dining room table.
זה לא מקום הדלוקו.
Oh,
באמצע המופסת.
oh. אז רגע, אבל המעקה זה כן מקום הדלוקה?
לא, זה עדיין הרסת, זה כמו חלון.
במה זה כמו חלון?
לא רואים כנגדם חלון.
במה זה, אני שואל, במה זה כאילו...
זה הכי בחוץ.
חלון מותר להדליק.
It's
It's facing outside.
אז אם אני שם את זה,
You can see both equally.
אני שם את זה על הגדר מבחוץ, יש לה קומת כניסה, יש לי כזה מפסת של אבן, ואני תולה את זה על האבן, אני גם יוצא.
זה יותר טוב
It's floating
מחלון.
in the middle of nowhere.
Wait, I'm not blind, I can see where it came from.
זה יותר טוב מחלון. It's even better.
Look at this line. הנה, מה אתם ומנועים? מבין את הבעיה? יש מקום או אין מקום, ואיך אני מגדיר המקום?
מקום באיזה? בחוץ.
Yeah.
בחוץ. So I have a private house. I have, listen, I have a villa. ואני תולה את זה על הקיר שלי של הווילה. יש בעיה? אתה לא יודע ממי זה?
It's floating in the middle. Okay. Floating in the middle of nowhere.
יש מקום, אז יש הלכות של מקום. מה נקרא מקום ומה נקרא מקום? אל תסתכל עליי ככה.
This that he got most people. It's the most bachutz. That's neighbor on the chutz. It doesn't kill. That's not the place. Who said that's the place?
Correct. Correct. Now, I will tell you that I'm fighting with people that are greater than I.
Oh.
But there are people that are on my side too. It's not a... But בואו נקרא מה כתוב. I think that it's evident from here that it's not a free-for-all. So I don't see any reason why it should be mutter to light in the middle of my merpeset that can be seen from Rosh Hashanah, and that should call that lokas chutz. Any different than me lighting on my dining room table that it can be seen from Rosh Hashanah. V'yoter. I have a sliding door, glass sliding door on my merpeset, and it's on komat karka, and I light it on my table.
That's what I thought this is an example.
Is that adlokas chalo?
If you have very good sight.
No, that's
You should see my menorah. You should see my menorah.
Everyone can see.
Everyone can see it.
אבל זה עדיין לא רשות.
The Rabbi said there's a makom, yesh makom. I said, oh,
what's the
yesh
makom?
makom מיוחד, ספציפי.
אז מי אומר, אז מהו המקום?
But I don't understand why in that case it's
לא,
not a
ברשות
place.
סייחת בו.
It's not a place where you're allowed to look in. There's a difference. If you light it on your dining room table, if people can see in, they're not allowed to look in. But if you put it on your merpeset outside, it's a place where people are allowed.
Rashi says that manicha alach bifnim neged hachalon, inside.
You can still see it.
But I can see the rest of the house too. So he says, "Kibbutz hutra." I can look and check out what's inside your safe also. You can do the whole thing.
And your code.
And whatever. It's all okay. All right. Anyways, that's the okay. We'll stop over here. Maybe we'll remember next year what we're up to. Okay.
still don't know what the answer is.
You don't know what the answer
No, I
is.
don't know what the answer is.
You ask me, you're not answer. So I didn't tell my chavrusa, my neighbor, anything because I think there are opinions that say that he's yaitza. But if you ask me, there's a bracha batol. He gets an A for effort and fails the course. In my opinion. I feel very strongly on this issue. No, he's a wonderful guy. You know, it's not. It's just like the guy who lights a tefach and a half away. It's not horseshoes.
So you have a chiyuv
Or hand grenades.
for yourself to tell him this?
No, because I used to have places that say like that. I don't think I have a chiyuv.
So there is supposed to say.
If you be somebody that davens here in the shul, perhaps I would say something to him.